Thank you, Petra. A who's who of top tech and business people are gathering in Queenstown this week for a global entrepreneurs conference. Alongside speakers from internet giants Google and Facebook will be Kiwi entrepreneur and co-founder of US-based mobile marketing firm The Hyperfactory, Derek Handley. And Derek is with us now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
You're talking about a force for good at the conference this week, and I guess capitalism has had a bad rap over the past few years. So what are you going to be hoping to convince people?
I'm not sure if I'll be able to convince people in this first attempt, I guess, at talking about business as a force for good, but I think there's a growing consciousness around the world that perhaps there is a better way. There is a new model in terms of what capitalism should stand for. So I'm going to give an introductory talk about that, I suppose. We've been doing the same old capitalism for 100+ years, and I think the current recession has proved that there are some real flaws with the model. And as I said, there's a bunch of people around the world that are thinking about what this looks like for the future, and I'm one of those people.
So how might you like to see it change?
Well, I think when you think about happiness and what people want, they measure their lives in terms of their welfare and their happiness in general. And in terms of happiness for a corporation or for a country, we really have only two measurements at the moment. One is profit and one is GDP, and they're both entirely based around financial profit and financial GDP. So I think part of the problem is we measure the wrong thing. There needs to be much more holistic viewpoint as to what business should stand for.
So you're talking like a happiness index?
I don't know if there should be a happiness index, but I think it should stand for more than profit. It should stand for people, it should stand for the planet, and business needs to play a role in a big way to move that all forward.
But that would be a massive paradigm shift, would it not? So what would be the first steps towards making something like that happen?
The first steps, I think, is talking about it. And that's why I said I'm not going to be convincing people. I'm sure in Queenstown a lot of people will look at me and think that that's a bit of a silly idea, etc. And why should I be talking about that? But when you look back about 100+ years ago, Henry Ford actually said business is thought that business existed for profit. It's not. It exists for service. So there are people in the past that have talked about this. And it's just that we're in such an incredible recession at the moment that more and more people are actually thinking, well, maybe that's probably the right way forward.
And is it the kind of thing you've put into practice in your business ventures, or would you like to in future?
I'm starting to look at doing it, yeah. And I think a lot of it starts with people, what business stands for in terms of the people that you employ, the people that you work with, and the values that an organization has. So in the new ventures that I'm involved in, I'm really trying to integrate that from the outset. I think for bigger corporations that exist already, it's a harder question to answer.
Because I guess, does it mean if you look at measuring it a different way, you might have to sacrifice profit to achieve it?
Possibly in the short term, but in the long run, I think people that have tried to do this already recently have already found incredible returns financially, as well as everything else. And Marks and Spencer's in the UK is a great example of an organization that has already set out a huge plan that is much more holistic than financial profit. And very quickly, they had already actually seen huge financial profit as a result of it as well. I don't know whether they did it for the profit or whether they did it for good, but it's kind of worked out both ways.
Sounds like a fascinating presentation. Thank you very much for your time. That is Derek Handley, the co-founder of The Hyperfactory, speaking in Queenstown this week. That is business for now. Corin and Petra.